Good morning everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm starting this vlog in a little bit of a different location than usual. I'm down visiting Diane and Samson again, and I thought I would just share the most beautiful view that I woke up to and maybe just take you on a little walk through some of their gardens here. Diane and Samson have a YouTube channel and they have this gorgeous homestead on the south coast of New South Wales where they grow a lot of their own food. They grow their own meat here. They have honeybees. They have a tiny home / bus that they're building here. They have so much going on with their lives on this beautiful property. It's been really cool to walk through their property and just see a lot more of it this time. But this week I thought I would do kind of a week in the garden video where I share just a little bit every day of what I get up to in the garden. There is going to be a lot going on in this video, so I'm sure it's going to be jam-packed with different things because I have a whole week of time to get out into the garden and do some things, including mainly prepping for this flower farm. But for today we're going to be traveling back home and I'm gonna have to say goodbye to my little companions here. They've been so nice and it's been so nice to spend time with all of their animals here. But first I'll have a quick walk down to the garden to just share what we got up to yesterday. Pretty. Iris. So yesterday we were out here harvesting lots of potatoes. I'll insert a few photos on the screen of the harvest because there were a lot of potatoes. Yes. And you're going to enjoy a lot of fresh potatoes.
Yes,
over the next few days. I don't know how long they'll last.
Not long really, they go so quickly.
Exactly, we go through so many as well. But Diane's got so many things planted in this garden and so much potential for spring. I see all of your peas popping up.
Yes.
They're looking really nice.
Finally.
Yeah. What are you most excited to get done over the next week or so?
I've started sowing some lettuce seeds, so just getting some more fresh greens because the birds have destroyed ours. And also some more carrots. I finally saw some more carrots peeking up. And
exactly.
I'm missing those root vegetables.
Yeah, so exciting.
Yes.
Awesome. I'm excited to follow along and see how it changes over spring. It's going to be amazing.
And you'll have to tell me how the potatoes taste on your end.
Exactly. We grabbed lots of potatoes and some beautiful lemons as well. So it's going to be nice to add to our fresh produce. Yay. Oh, and I see a little cosmos. Look at it.
So cute.
It's so cute.
These are my favorite at the moment.
Alright, we just got home from travelling and on the way back home we passed a lot of nurseries and I've been to quite a few of them, but I hadn't been to the one near Badalla, and I went in there just to have a look around and I grabbed a few things. I grabbed just a punnet of spinach. I'm also going to probably start some of these from seed, but I just saw it there and they looked pretty healthy, and there are so many seedlings in this little punnet. This spinach is really great because you can just tuck it in and around the garden wherever you have a little bit of space. It only really needs like 20-30 centimeters or so, and you can pick the leaves at pretty much any time really. So I'm going to be planting these sometime this week, and this afternoon I'm going to be planting this one, which is catnip. I also picked up some of this. It's got some really nice like feathery soft leaves, really great for kids and also cats. We bring the cats out on supervised walks in the afternoon and I think they will enjoy rubbing up and sniffing this plant. So I'm going to plant it kind of on a border in a corner so that they can walk through and enjoy the plant. I also just really like the scent of it and the look of it. It's a really great cottage plant and has a lot of those kind of companion planting benefits as well. It can tend to get a little bit invasive, so just keep an eye on it where you do plant it. That's why it's really great to plant in pots as well. Catnip prefers kind of moist but free draining soil. I think it'll grow really well in the garden behind me and just provide a little bit more of that silvery green and purple foliage that I feel like I'm kind of lacking in the garden garden right now. So I think all I'm going to do in the garden today is just plant this, and then I'm going to relax this afternoon and plan what I want to get done for the rest of the week. I think it'll look really nice in this area and fill in this corner while still allowing me to plant either side of it right along the borders of this garden bed. Oh my goodness. I was very ready to go in the ground. I'd actually try and break it up just a little bit, tease the roots a bit. Right, I think I'm happy with the catnip there, and I think that's kind of all I'm going to do in the garden today. I'm pretty tired and really would like to go have a bath and read my book and just relax for the rest of this Sunday. But I will see you tomorrow, where hopefully I will have planned out what I would like to do for the rest of the week. So I thought I would do a little bit of a voiceover to explain some different parts of this video, what I was getting up to. But on Monday, we just had so many different errands to do. But one thing we did do was go to the recycling centre to pick up a bunch of cardboard there. On Tuesday, I had a little bit of a relax in the morning. I went for a really gorgeous bushwalk. I just needed some time to myself to have a little bit of me time and connect to nature a little bit. Going outside and being around the trees and animals is really important for me. It's also really important for my gardening because I find so much inspiration out in nature, including like all of the different flowers that are blooming, to get inspiration for different native plants that I might want in the backyard. It was also just such a lovely day, so I really wanted to enjoy it. And then in the afternoon, I did plant a rose, and you would have seen all of this in my previous video where I shared all of the gorgeous bushwalk and planting this rose on kind of more a slow living day, which was really nice to mix up the week a little bit. Then on Wednesday was a pretty busy day. I usually work about once a week with Jeff and his team at whipbirdenvironmental, where we do bush regeneration and work around in people's gardens. Today was a very busy day, tackling all of this lantana wool that you can see here. All of these woody weeds around here are lantana. They are covering this patch, and our job was to take it all down. So we spent a good day just tackling this lantana, using just hand tools to really thoroughly work on cutting up all of this material. We did stop for a really nice lunch break down near the creek, but this was such a nice day just being outside and making a difference in my community, which really fuels me and I just enjoy tackling degraded areas of land like this one. This is what we achieved on that day, which was quite a lot. There was 4 of us and we all got stuck into it, and it really just made a big impact, just working together as a team to take on this job. Right, so it is Thursday now, and today's job is just prepping a little bit of the area that I'm going to be turning into flower beds. We are having the soil delivered tomorrow, so I have a little bit of time this afternoon just to do a few things, mainly just measure out the area and get in my mind exactly where I want the beds to be. I have a good amount of soil ordered. It's probably maybe 3.5 or so cubic meters, which is just perfect for what I need. But I need to go measure the area and then get all the cardboard ready from the other day where we collected it from the recycling centre. So that is this afternoon's job. It has been really rainy all day, so I haven't really been able to do much else, but it has stopped for now, so I can get out and do a few things before tomorrow. So you would have seen me put together this little tunnel here behind me. This was where I was raising some seeds and seedlings, and it was going great up until we had all of that rain and things just started getting moldy in the tunnel because it was just overall way too humid. So I think it's still a good idea, the tunnel, and I am going to use it, but I'm going to move it somewhere else when the weather dries up a bit. It's just really not working for us with all of this humidity. You can kind of see it's just so humid in there, and anything that was in there was getting like damping off issues and mold and moss and lichen, and it just wasn't a good time in there. Instead, this whole area around here is going to be flower beds because it's a little bit higher up. The soil is less boggy and wet. It gets pretty good sun here. I'm also going to be making the flower beds down in the bottom section, but I am going to be cardboarding a rectangle here and then planting flowers in here so that I can just have an extra growing space. I think this is going to be really good eventually for dahlias and other plants that need a little bit more protection, because we are behind the shed and usually the winds come from that way, or at least the really heavy ones do. So it's going to be a nice protected area, but today I just need to measure it out just to make sure that I've got all of the beds the right length that I want them, so then I can put the cardboard down and then string and then soil on top so I can know whereabouts the beds are located. All good? Okay. Okay. This is just a really rough sketch, but we need to measure it that way as well. But it's going to be like the length of 5 meters here is going to be just a pathway. The pathways are going to be a little bit wider just because I want more room here. And then the beds are going to be 1.2 meters. Alright, so we're just going to measure this to know how long the beds are going to be, because I want them in line with the shed here so that it's all neat, and if we need to mow, it's just a lot easier too. Alright, now I want to just go measure the other beds down behind there, which is kind of the main flower patch area. That's kind of all I really want to do today because I'm so tired. And need to preserve my energy for tomorrow, I think. Okay, it's kind of like an 8-meter square down there, which is good. I don't need cardboard for all of that space, but I do need cardboard for the little space behind the shed. I have a lot of it, as you would have seen in the other clip, so I think I might just spend a little bit of time sorting that out and taking the plastic, the sticky tape off the cardboard so that I can just lay it down straight away tomorrow, and then the soil on top. Are you gonna help? Alright, so Friday was the day when we got all of the soil delivered. This was a mixture of mushroom compost and different amendments. I did a pH test for it, and you can see that it was really quite alkaline compared to our natural soil, which I also did a test here, and this is quite acidic. So I'm hoping that the two of them are going to balance themselves out a little bit. They're not great, to be honest, both of these pHs, but we'll see how we go. I needed to just put my music on and get stuck into today because the dogs were barking so much today. I needed to blare some music and just get these jobs done. The first of which was taking down this low tunnel that I had my seedlings in. Again, it was just really way too humid for these, but I am going to move it and hopefully it'll work better with dry weather. This area here is where I am prepping to put some flower beds in, and I'm just removing the landscape fabric, and then I am going to get stuck into preparing the ground here. And converting lawn to garden beds can be a little bit overwhelming, but it's definitely a lot easier with one of these things. This is a broad fork that I recently picked up, and I'll have a link in the description down below. It's by a smaller company who makes Australian-made garden tools. I'm adding in, after I broad fork, I'm adding in some garden lime, which is just going to raise the pH a little bit of this natural native soil, and also just help to break up the clay a little bit more. And then I'm also just adding some pot ash into the area. This is just from when we had a fire and I just collected it, and this has a lot of potassium and calcium and other nutrients that are really great for flowers. So I just added those straight onto the grass and watered them in. I will probably do maybe another few applications of those in the future, depending on how the pH goes. I'm then just overlaying the ground where I broad forked with cardboard to make my first bed. So these beds are just over 1 meter wide, and I'm making sure to cover all of the grass with cardboard. This method has worked really well in the past, and I just like to wet it down so it doesn't fly away because it was quite windy on this day. And I want to cover all of the little cracks, so you'll kind of see I'm overlaying it whenever I add a new piece of cardboard on. And then just working on and filling in the beds with all of the compost that I ordered. This was a hard job, but needed to be done. Working with a wheelbarrow and the land being on a slope was pretty hard work, but I am glad that I got it done. Pegging out the area was really helpful to be able to see where the beds actually were, so that I wasn't, putting cardboard and putting soil where I didn't need it. I will eventually mulch all of the pathways, but for now it'll be fine just like this. I'm also adding in some dynamic lifter or organic pelletized chicken manure. This is my favorite amendment to add, and I know has worked well with some other flower farmers around. They do recommend it, so I'm adding that in just for a little bit more of a boost. And then finishing off the beds with mulch, and I'm just choosing to use sugarcane mulch because that's what works for us. We have a lot of it around, and I really enjoy using it because it breaks down and just creates even more soil on top of the garden beds. We then worked on moving some of the black plastic that we have. We've had this one down here since about I want to say the end of March or so, where we just put it down to kill the grass, and you can see it's done a really good job of killing the grass. The worms have all been working busily beneath, and a lot of the top area of the grass is now killed, and we just moved it down to the bottom of the patch, and we're going to just let this area rest and sit for quite a while until we need it in the future. We might even just plant some pumpkins or something down the bottom area, but these beds here are going to be for flowers. So you can see the top of the grass is all died back, and you can see where the worms have been working and all of the different bugs, but the roots of this grass will still be alive in some parts here. So I am going to be doing the exact same method as I did with the other 2 flower beds in this area. So broad forking, and then cardboard, and then putting compost and mulch on top of the garden beds. And then after that, we just finished the other garden bed in the top area, just laid a little bit more compost on top. I just want a really nice thick layer, and I'm using just a piece of wood to define the area when we put the rest of the soil on. I just want a thick layer so that I can plant directly in a few weeks. And it's just going to speed up the whole process of the flower farm because I've been waiting so long and I really want to just get planting. Good morning everyone. It is a few days later now and I thought I would just come outside this morning and finish off this video and share how much we ended up getting done with the flower farm beds. I'm really happy that all of this is coming together and I'm so excited to get planting in these beds. All of behind me, my cottage garden is going to stay the same, so I'm going to be growing lots of food in here and probably some food in the flower beds that you would have seen in this video. But I have a lot of seedlings ready for the flower farm that really need to get in the ground. So I'll walk you down and share how much we ended up getting done this week. Right, you would have seen me put together these two beds first. These are about 1.2 meters wide by about 4 meters in length with a 1 meter pathway. These are going to be for some of the plants that need a little bit more protection because it is behind this shed and that is the direction where we get a lot of our strong winds. Hopefully this is going to be kind of my dahlia bed, and any other plants that need just a little bit more support or that are a little bit bigger can go in these beds here. I am letting the beds rest for about 2 weeks or so before I plant anything in them, just to let all of the soil settle, and because when you do get compost in, usually it's quite hot, and I really just want to let all of the amendments settle that I added into the beds as well. Now I'll show you the bottom flower patch, which kind of is where the main growing is going to be happening. Alright, so this here is the main flower patch area. I ended up getting 4 rows done, or 4 and a bit really. I was also just really busy this week and I forget how hard it actually is to move soil when it's just me and a wheelbarrow and I'm having to cart around cardboard and rake it all in and measure all of the beds. It's definitely a lot of work. So I'm really proud of myself that I have done this week. I still need to mulch the beds and finish the last end one, which I've only just started before I got rained out the other day. And then everywhere where there is black plastic, that's just going to be rested. I'm thinking about doing like a really big pumpkin patch down the back when the weather warms up. Or if I do need more space, then I will just create some more garden beds with cardboard and some compost. So all of these beds here are about 8 meters in length. They're 80 centimeters wide and I have 60 centimeter pathways. That's generally what's recommended for flower farming and is going to be working really well for me so that I can really maximize the space that I have here behind me. But I also have all of these kind of garden beds that I'm also going to be working with, growing more perennials. So I have a lot of space to work with. This is mainly going to be for annuals down here. If you have any questions about the flower farm or what I'm growing, how I did the beds, amendments, leave them in the comments down below and I can put together like a Q&A video. I'd like to do another kind of walkthrough just to share exactly what my plans are a little bit more in depth. But this video was just doing the hard work and getting all of these beds prepared. So I really hope you're excited to see this patch turn into some beautiful flowers. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and I would love to know down in the comments, like always, what you've been up to in your garden this week. Thank you so much for watching, and until my next video, happy gardening everyone. Bye!